The Galactic fleet celebrated victory as the Earth's dreadnoughts appeared, their massive silhouettes emerging from the void like giants of war. The battle had raged for days, a fierce struggle between the United Earth Federation and the invading forces of the Xelari Dominion. The fleet, battered and weary, had pushed to its limits, holding the line against overwhelming odds. Just when it seemed that defeat was inevitable, the unmistakable shadows of Earth's most powerful warships loomed over the battlefield, their hulls glinting in the dying light of distant stars. The dreadnoughts had arrived. Each dreadnought was a fortress in space, built to withstand the harshest of battles. Their armor, composed of neutronium plating reinforced with energy-dampening fields, made them nearly impervious to enemy fire. Their weapons, colossal railguns and energy lances capable of slicing through enemy capital ships with a single shot, now turned upon the Xelari fleet. The tide of battle shifted in an instant. Fighters and cruisers scrambled to reposition, and the once relentless assault of the Xelari faltered. The Earth's warships fired in unison, their coordinated salvos tearing through enemy formations, breaking apart command ships and shattering their once unbreakable blockade. The admiral of the Galactic fleet, standing on the bridge of the UEF Valiant, let out a breath he had been holding for what felt like eternity. He had fought in countless battles, had witnessed victories and defeats, but never had he felt the raw power of hope as he did now. The dreadnoughts did not simply join the battle, they commanded it, dictating the flow of combat with a precision that could only come from the pinnacle of human engineering. Across the fleet, cheers erupted over the comm channels. Soldiers who had braced themselves for an inevitable last stand now found themselves surging forward, inspired by the sight of their greatest warships leading the charge. Frigates and destroyers flanked the dreadnoughts, their weapons carving through what remained of the Xelari fleet. The enemy, once so confident in their numbers and technology, now scrambled in disarray. Some ships tried to flee, but the dreadnoughts' long-range cannons ensured that no survivors would carry news of their defeat. The battle was over in minutes. What had once seemed like an unwinnable conflict became a decisive victory. The remnants of the Xelari fleet either surrendered or were obliterated. Silence settled over the battlefield, punctuated only by the distant hum of engines and the quiet relief of those who had survived. The stars bore witness to the triumph of Earth's might. As the fleet regrouped, the admiral turned his gaze toward the flagship of the dreadnoughts, a behemoth of steel and firepower, its name shining in bold letters across its hull, UEF Invictus. It was a name that would be spoken in legends, a testament to the strength and resilience of humankind. Victory belonged to the United Earth Federation. The war was not yet over, but tonight, the galaxy would remember the day Earth's dreadnoughts appeared. 1. The arrival of Earth's dreadnoughts turned the tide of battle, shifting an inevitable defeat into a decisive victory. 2. The sheer firepower and indestructibility of the dreadnoughts cemented humanity's dominance, ensuring the galaxy would remember their power. The arrival of Earth's dreadnoughts turned the tide of battle, shifting an inevitable defeat into a decisive victory. For days, the United Earth Federation fleet had been locked in a brutal engagement against the Xelari Dominion, a technologically advanced empire known for its ruthless conquests. The UEF forces, though skilled and determined, had found themselves outmatched. The enemy's relentless assault pushed them further back, their defenses crumbling under the sheer weight of the Xelari war machine. Every attempt to regroup and counterattack was met with overwhelming firepower, and soon, the Federation fleet was reduced to a desperate defensive formation, holding on by the slimmest of margins. The battlefield was a graveyard of shattered ships and drifting wreckage. Fires burned across hulls breached by energy lances, and debris from fallen vessels formed an eerie cloud around the remaining UEF warships. The admiral of the fleet, his face grim and tired, watched the tactical display with growing despair. The Xelari fleet had begun its final push, their Dreadnought-class warships advancing like predators closing in on wounded prey. The Federation fleet had exhausted nearly all of its resources, and the enemy knew it. Victory for the Xelari seemed inevitable. Then, without warning, the space before them rippled with the arrival of massive warships. The jump gates flared as Earth's dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace, their immense hulls casting shadows over the battlefield. These were not just reinforcements, they were the pinnacle of human engineering, the strongest warships ever constructed. Their arrival sent shockwaves through both fleets. The battered UEF forces erupted in renewed hope, while the Xelari hesitated, their formations faltering for the first time in the battle. The dreadnoughts wasted no time. Their heavy railguns and particle cannons roared to life, firing precise, devastating salvos into the enemy fleet. Each shot tore through Xelari capital ships as if they were made of paper, their once impenetrable defenses crumbling in an instant. The enemy's confidence wavered as their warships, which had dominated the battlefield just moments before, were systematically dismantled by the sheer firepower of Earth's war machines. The Federation fleet seized the opportunity, rallying behind the Dreadnoughts and launching a full-scale counterattack. Fighters and bombers swarmed through the enemy ranks, taking advantage of their confusion. Frigates and cruisers, once on the brink of destruction, now surged forward with newfound strength. The tide of battle had turned completely. What had once seemed like an inevitable defeat became a ruthless dismantling of the Xelari forces. Enemy commanders scrambled to issue new orders, but it was too late. The Dreadnoughts pressed forward, unyielding, their powerful energy shields absorbing any desperate counterfire. One by one, the Xelari warships fell, their burning hulks drifting lifelessly in the void. Their forces, once so sure of victory, now found themselves facing utter annihilation. The battle was no longer about strategy or tactics, it was a statement. The arrival of Earth's Dreadnoughts had changed everything. The sheer firepower and indestructibility of the Dreadnoughts cemented humanity's dominance, ensuring the galaxy would remember their power. The United Earth Federation had long been preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the Xelari Dominion, a ruthless empire that had conquered countless star systems with its superior technology and overwhelming fleet numbers. Humanity had studied their tactics, analyzed their weaknesses, and invested in building a class of warships that could not only withstand the might of the Xelari but surpass it in every way. The Dreadnoughts were designed as the ultimate war machines, their massive hulls constructed from neutronium-reinforced alloys, making them impervious to conventional weapons. Layered energy shields provided additional protection, capable of absorbing even the most devastating particle cannons and plasma torpedoes. Each dreadnought was a floating fortress, equipped with enough firepower to annihilate entire fleets. Their primary weapons included long-range railguns, each capable of accelerating projectiles to near-light speeds, punching through enemy capital ships with surgical precision. Energy lances mounted along their hulls emitted concentrated beams of plasma that could slice through armored warships as if they were paper. Their secondary arsenal was just as formidable. Swarms of autonomous drones patrolled their perimeters, intercepting incoming threats before they could even reach the dreadnoughts' shields. Missile batteries unleashed volleys of smart projectiles that adapted mid-flight to evade countermeasures, ensuring that no enemy ship could escape destruction. Advanced electronic warfare systems disrupted enemy communications and targeting systems, blinding the opposition while the dreadnoughts executed precise, devastating strikes. The psychological impact of these warships was just as powerful as their weaponry. The Xelari, who had long viewed humanity as an inferior race, found themselves confronted by a force they could not comprehend. Their warships, which had once dominated the battlefield, were reduced to burning wrecks within minutes of engaging the dreadnoughts. Their once cohesive fleet formations collapsed as commanders panicked, unable to coordinate against an enemy that seemed unstoppable. Even the most advanced Xelari battleships, designed to crush planetary defenses with ease, crumbled under the relentless assault of Earth's war machines. Federation fleets had always fought with strategy and precision, but with the arrival of the dreadnoughts, battles no longer hinged on complex maneuvers or calculated risks. These warships dictated the flow of combat, forcing enemy forces into retreat the moment they appeared on the battlefield. The sheer indestructibility of the dreadnoughts made them an unshakable force, absorbing punishment that would have annihilated entire armadas while returning fire with unmatched lethality. Word of their power spread across the galaxy, reaching the ears of other civilizations that had once viewed Earth as a minor power. Fear took root among potential adversaries, forcing them to reconsider any plans of aggression. The Xelari, once the most feared empire in known space, now faced a reckoning unlike any before. The dreadnoughts did not simply win battles, they reshaped the balance of power. Their presence alone was enough to turn war into submission, forcing the galaxy to acknowledge humanity's supremacy.